Now if you see a line from here to here, I'm actually, if I push like this, I'm actually pushing the first and second bone. And that's why if I put my finger here, it cannot walk. If you try to walk, it can't walk. Now, if I do a motion of a triangle and I put it up and down, I can take him immediately and balance displacement here. Now, if you take this principle, again, you can use it immediately to self-defense. And for a technique, we didn't find it. It was already been found in every manual book that you go for the history of martial art, no matter if it's 500 years ago, or if it's go like for the most modern CQB, Colonel Applegate, Farben, all of those guys, books of Second World manual books, you'll see that most of they do this, and then they go like for sentry removal or whatever. And this technique called the mask, if you see, many times they used to do this way, but again, because we talked about the post-conflict, you don't want him to bite you, and you don't want him to mess with his blood. This is why we try to reach him this way and immediately take him out of cover. Now again, if you see like it's the up and down, high and low, so immediately if I do this, I take him out of balance. Is what we call the neck triangles. And you have a lot of neck triangles. You have here, but the most simple one is over here on the trachea. And when you push your finger, mostly if you have one, it's not strong enough, but when you have two, it's immediately take him off. And that's called the nailing technique. And for example, I can take tacks and nail him to the wall. So if I do this, I nail him to the wall. Mostly, for example, for a crowd environment, I'm stuck with him in an elevator. If these are the doors, you don't want to stand like this and give him your back. And again, it's a repositioning. When you stand in front of somebody, you want to be here. You want maybe to have one end up, that if you do something. And once something happens, you want to be controlling him and be here. And again, if you see, I make him go on his toes, and I can take him also down by pushing up and immediately down and bring him to my other tools to hit him. So this is the nail, and the nail is a great tool, and also like this one, and I can say, stop, don't move, don't move. And if you see all I do, I push my fingers that way to his neck. So whenever I come to a fight, don't move, I don't want to hurt you, don't move. Put your hand in the front of your body, that's it. So those basic two techniques, mask and nail, we can apply them in technique and from every position. If the guy go to a hack bar, immediately see like where is my finger? Immediately. And sorry, I do it only one time, so like you go to for a bar, and again like you remember all of those. And when you go to the ground, you see I can keep him over here.
Okay, let's talk about release from holds. Holds is kind of simple and not simple. It's kind of like you're in a safe zone, but you're not. So guys that wrestle, grapple, football players have the tendency to bear hug you, take you to the ground, and work the way from the ground. You want to avoid it at all costs, especially if your grappling skills are poor. We're going to work by one guiding principle, and you will see how I'm building on that, but that's going to be your foundation. Keeping your center of gravity low. Now, the good news about a hug or a bear hug is that the guy cannot punch you. Unless he grows a third arm, he cannot punch you. He needs to grab a hold. He cannot hold you with one hand unless he gets you in a weird headlock or something, but to get you in a grappling takedown situation, he has to use both of his arms. Now, Martin's a big guy. He's going to have a lot of grab. Let's talk about the first importance that I just mentioned is keeping your center of gravity low. Martin is going to approach to me, hug me, and just lift me up without a problem. I'm about 205, 206. He lifts me up without a problem. Let's try it again. Okay. What I didn't change my weight or anything. I just shifted my center of gravity from being high up here, this is our center of gravity, to being much lower. It's almost like I doubled my weight. there was no way that he could lift somebody like me up by dropping my weight. If you saw it before, he lifted me up, it disconnected me from the ground without a problem. The first thing is a mechanism to avoid the slam, the body slam. As soon as I feel the bear hug, is to drop my weight. Drop my weight also, as you can see, gives me a lot of options and movement with my hands. I kind of even get a chance to squirm my arms underneath him. And whether I'm going for the donkey choke or the donkey kiss, or for the slamming of the groin from here, I got a lot of options, but I gotta lower my level, my center of gravity. If not, in about a split second, I'm gonna find myself slammed in the air and flying in the air and get slammed to the ground. Okay, so two variations and two situations of holding that we're gonna talk about in a second. Let's start and see. I'll demonstrate the technique first, and then I'm going to go over what I'm doing. Okay? Martin engaged me with a bear hug from the front, and immediately I drop my hands. Also, if you see wrestlers, there's no way, wrestlers, grapplers, they never throw they have to have hip to hip contact in order to throw. Martin cannot lift me up in the air. Can you lift me up like this from here? There's no way. He needs to attach his hip, his center of gravity, to my center of gravity, and then lift me up. Now, that's the only way. If I'm preventing from that, I'm doing, remember, we're not in a wrestling match, but that's gotta be my first instinct, to prevent him from throwing me. Almost like a sprawl. Control the upper hand, go for the groin if I need to with both hands. Now, by pulling and pushing, the same elements we talked before, pulling and pushing, extracting my hand out, I can control the head. Let's see from this angle. Okay, see that? Let's see the hug from here. Pulling, pushing out. If I rake him on the way out with my elbow, even better. And controlling and having this dynamic tension between his hand, and from there on, whatever works for you. If you want to grab him in a full guillotine and can continue the grappling game, if you want to disconnect and just work your boxing and go away, if you're a Thai boxer, if you want to just pummel, get in with the knees, whichever. Really important to create that distance, extract, pull, and push the arm, and do your thing from over there. Okay, same thing for a more vulnerable position. I might be standing here talking to somebody, all of a sudden I feel the tackle from the side. Now, because of this attack is coming from the side, same like in the back, I have to drag my leg backwards in order to stabilize myself. The same thing I would have to do in the side, because otherwise I'm just going to collapse and he's going to just fall right on top of me. Same thing applies with center of gravity. Martin can lift me up from here. Can you lift me up? Okay, not a problem. Lift me up from here. It's not going to work, not even if he does have a good close hip to hip center of gravity contact. Like very similar to the dragging of the foot and the shooting stance, and checking the hip, getting the arm, push and pull. From here, I create the distance. I pull myself out, and I push my hand, extract it. Some people call it the suitcase. If it helps you remember, kind of like when you're taking luggage in the airport, they lift it up from here, elbow to the face, and again, I'm not in a good position. I want to keep my good relative position. Maybe I'll pivot on the outside. Maybe go for a break, joint, knee, kick, but the same principle apply. I feel this, same thing, lifting my hands up, that is my defense. Okay, give him a hard time. Don't be an easy target. Hit, pull, reposition yourself with the elbow, hit, grab, do whatever you need to do from here. Soon as you got that, you're in a safe zone for a little while. If Martin's gonna tackle me from the side, especially if he comes lifting me up, that's it, I'm done. But this time I'll be flying in the air, he's gonna be all over me on the ground. The worst, most possible scenario that can happen to anybody is getting attacked from the rear. Okay, getting attacked from the rear, you're not ready, you don't have eyes in the back of your head. That attack can come really swiftly and they can finish you up pretty quick if you do not know or not prepare for what you're doing. If you're not prepared, try to stick to the same thing. Remember, it's different weapons, one mindset. Just stick to the basics, and you would have that enough period of time to react and try to counter the attack. He's got the element of surprise. You can see what he cannot. He can see what you cannot. So everything so far looks for his advantage. And what I'm referring to is the rare grab or bear hug. Okay. Again, coming from here, Martin's gonna grab me, lift me up without a problem. I'm gonna be on my head, planted in the ground before I know it. The first thing I'm gonna do, same old thing. Drop my center of gravity, not completely loose up and sit on the ground, but just drop while I'm still in control. Now lift me up, Martin. It's just not gonna work. You don't believe it? Try it at home. Okay, from here, same like any other grab we did before. Restrain one arm. See, he's dropping me from under. Now, I'm gonna slap the groin with the back of my hand, like in every other strike. I'm gonna slap the groin. Open hand, why not fist? Because this just covers more area. It just covers more. Extend my hand as regarding to fist, as opposed to a fist, I cover more space. I tilt my hip to the side almost like a little dance to expose it, because from here it's gonna be really hard to reach his groin. Also from this angle, you'll see I have to kind of tilt to have his groin open. Tilt, low. Now from here, I have high. Now if I cannot break it, I work on both sides. Both sides, and look what I'm doing. I'm replacing my arms, eventually working high on the headbutt level and pivoting out, very similar to a pivot. If you can peel a finger, great. From here, finger towards him, try to snap the finger off. And from there, do your fighting routine, whether you're doing triangles, Kapap, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, or just getting one good straight hand and just getting the hell out of there, okay? So every motion starts with dropping, whether it was from the front, groin, open hand to the groin, extract it out. Side, lower your body, hand, open hand to the groin, tilt. And tilting is very important because I have to extract my arm out and then pivot. And from the back. So from here, drop, groin, groin. Especially if he gets me with two arms, it's gonna be hard for me to strike. If I can go with the headbutt, stomp the toes, grab a finger, pivot out, try to engage the finger, and break contact. Break contact it doesn't mean the fight is over. He might want to still come at you, who knows? But at least I'm not in the inferior position that I started in the first place of being grabbed in a bear hug.
When we talk about Kapap and Kapap as a martial arts, we also have to talk about not only protecting yourself, but also protecting others. The people around you. It could be your girlfriend, your daughter, your wife, your VIP, if you're into VIP protection. So I'll just go over again a couple things and about how to be, in regards to your either loved ones or your VIP when it comes to the whole relation of space of being around and where to be. So here I have my, we'll call her the principal for right now. If she'll turn around, and if we're into VIP protection, I would want to be in a spot where I can best protect her. So the place I want to be in VIP protection is what we call within arm's reach. I just barely have to be where I can touch her so I can get her evacuated in case there is some kind of emergency or a threat poses or whatever. If I take a step back here, it'll take me way too long time to get up there to protect her. And if I'm all the way up here, she'll probably feel me breathing down her neck and she'll feel, crowded, and I'll lose my job in a week. So if I'm working on VIP, I'll probably be within an arm's reach right here in case anything would ever happen. Then I can step in front of her and protect her. And I'll show that if you can step over here. Right here, if anything would ever happen, I'm going to use what we already talked about, the linear movement. I'll start off first. If a threat poses from the front towards my principal, I'll take a step up and I'll take a step in. Right now, my body is in between the threat and the principal, and I'll probably be wearing body armor, maybe even rifle plates in case something ever happens. 99% of the time, it's enough for me just to come in here and maybe just shield her a little bit from the supposed threat or whatever. Sometimes I might have to evacuate her. Again, I'll show one more time. If I'm back here within arm's reach and there's a threat and somebody comes running towards her, I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the principles that we talked about earlier about the high T and the low T. And I'll just turn it this way right here, and I'll show. Again, I'm going to come in and I'm going to break her balance to spin her around to evacuate out of the threat area. I'm going to put a palm on her hip, and I'm going to put a palm strike on her right shoulder. And when I do that at the same time, she'll spin around. And then I'm going to put my hand up on her head and push her down. Sometimes the principal will be a lot taller than you. You have to put him down so the threat from the back can't really get to them or shoot you. Right now, when the threat came, I got my body armor in between the threat and the principal, and I can walk her out of there, back towards the car, a safe area. Okay, in VIP protection, the first step, or the basic VIP protection, is just me. I'll be what they call the agent in charge, or the team leader, or the private protection officer for the day. I'll be assigned to a principal. The next step, after we're done exercising with just one guy evacuating, it'll be to add a guy. The most logical place to add this guy will be what we call left point. This is an echelon left. We can also do echelon right, and we can add some more people later. What we'll show is just a basic drill on how it works with an echelon left. When I say contact, he'll do a body shift to the right, and he'll put his body in front, directly in front of the VIP, so I can evacuate her. And if anybody would be shooting at her, it would have to go through Uri's body armor before it would get to her, right? So here we go. Contact. And I'll simply just spin her around and walk her out of there like we did before, by putting my left hand on her left hip and my right hand on the right shoulder blade, and just spin her around with a palm strike. Let's do it one more time. So we're walking down the street, suddenly we see something, somebody yells, "Contact!" And that's pretty much the basic exercise that you can go to when you get some more people on your detail. Okay, here what happened. We just got a budget increase. We got one more guy in our formation now. Again, so I got a right point and I got a left point, and basically it'll be the same exercise, but except when I say contact, they'll both do a body shift and they'll screen the protect the principal that way. So here we go. Contact front. And as you can see, right now they're shoulder to shoulder, body armor to body armor. So there's a pretty big screen for me to run away from the potential threat. It'll have to go through these two guys. Rounds or whatever's coming down range has to come through them and my own body armor before I can get to my principal.